A lot of people worry about, I know I have this passion or I'm really good at this one thing, but the market's so saturated. There's no place for like a little guy to jump in. You're not competing with the big boys, you're competing with only yourself. And so how to separate yourself is like, let's look at what you offer and what your interests are, and then find a unique angle by finding the intersection of two angles. For me, I like nutrition. Like, I know a lot about nutrition. I know that if people follow what I tell them, that they're generally gonna like lose weight. I found that that's not enough. Like, I could write about it maybe, but like that's not gonna actually take.
It's not special.
That's not special. There's already so much information on that on the internet. That's not how I'm gonna stand apart. How I'm gonna stand apart is by helping people dissect their routines and creating frameworks for success. And the way that I do that is by establishing really meaningful relationships. So it's almost like the combination of therapy and nutrition.
How'd you do that with Evolution Eat? Like, what was the core nugget of difference?
I wrote like things like treatises on health treatises
Wow.
on healthy living, what you should be eating, blah, 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 blah. But I wasn't really passionate about writing it, and I also didn't want to, like, I knew what worked for me, but I never believed in the fact that like whatever I was doing could be applicable for everybody else. One thing that I noticed though in my life is that I loved trying to solve other people's issues. People would come to me, friends would come to me, family members would come to me and talk to me, and I would help deconstruct what their problems were. But I took those two concepts, I welded them into this new way of helping people lose weight. I use nutrition, I use food as a tool to help them figure out how to improve themselves. And we use food, we use their diet to establish that initial framework that then sets in a motion of change. And that for me is what James Altucher calls idea sex, and what I'm now
Well, and then you do that practically by like saying, just text me a picture of your food in a text message.
That covers all the parts. It's like relationship building. We have this intimate relationship where you're sending me information about yourself every day, establishing a routine for you, a habit, this new habit of choosing healthy foods, and then reinforcing the habit by including me in the process. My point was how I came to find myself doing that is that I realized I really liked helping people deconstruct their issues, and I also really liked nutrition. I found myself then gravitating towards those two things and clicked one day I should combine them. That was my unique way of solving this problem.
For me, when I was in high school and college, I was really into acting, and that was one of my big things. And then I moved to Atlanta, and I started doing some TV shows, commercials, stuff like that, and I made some movies. And then I started a business because I wanted to get enough money together to make more movies. And I kind of got sucked into business. And I was getting really annoyed with the internet space and the online course space. Like, on the one hand, I really like teaching, because you guys know I did like SAT test prep. I was like a summer camp counselor. I used to work at the YMCA nursery. Like, I really do like helping people, taking care of people. That's really a part of my personality. And then on the other side, like, I really do like filmmaking. Like, that's something I'm really passionate about. So in the beginning, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna make some online courses. But as I started doing more of it and I started getting a little bit more traction, it didn't feel natural to me. I wanted to document some of the stuff that we're doing and teach some of this stuff without it being in that weird type of contrived environment. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, well, how can we blend the educational content of like teaching people how to build something with the cinematic quality of a film that I would make for fun in my spare time? Still get my hit of teaching people, but also like get my fix of creative direction and film stuff. How can we meld those two? And that's what makes me super happy, and I think it stands out. I mean, you know, we're still shooting this right now, so who knows how it's gonna look. I think it's gonna look great. But like, no one's doing this. And that's idea sex, right? There's a difference between like combining two disparate ideas or two concepts and making a new idea. There's a difference between that and then just adding on top of an old idea. A lot of people do that, which isn't always bad, and you certainly can do that. One of the things we talk about with the 3-step validation, which is like, is there a competition? Are they making money? Can you do it differently or better? The better part is like, well, can you have better prices? Can you have better service? Can you have better selection? Can you have more customized this and that? You can definitely do it better. You can level people up. You can be better than the competition. But I think that becomes a very tiresome game for me personally. I gotta watch what the Joneses are doing. I gotta figure out, well, what's the trend in making online courses right now? Let me try to be at the cutting edge of that trend. And what I realized is, for me, that wasn't the path that I saw the company going. I wanted to find a way where I could like buck the trend and go off in another direction. Still with the proven idea that works. We still know that people need help in this area, and we still know that people want to know how to build an online business. So we still have validation there. There is competition. They are making money. And so for our differently or better, rather than just trying to add on top of it, we have more modules, more hours. It looks even slicker and cleaner and better. It's like, no. Why don't we just leave that there and go do something that's not being done in a space that other people won't really follow us into. Not a lot of people are going to do this style of education. You know, they're not going to do this, and so because of that, we're going to be
super unique. I mean, it's unique to your interests, and it's like your way of attacking this problem. And you recognize how people digest content these days, and you're like, oh, let's also play with that idea. Let's make it entertaining. Education doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be so sterile as
You're going to be much more likely to remember a 3-minute sketch on YouTube that was funny that you laughed at. Than a 30-minute diatribe, a treatise.
Exactly.
You know. So the question for you, how do you get to that point? How do you find an idea that works? Well, look in the market. There's plenty of stuff to pick from, and it's pretty simple. Find a pain point, right? Make sure that pain point is in a market where people are already serving customers, and then, dude, do it differently. It can be better, meaning that you can just be better than the competition. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of things that I buy because it's the best. But can you be different? Can you find a trend that you know people are willing to pay for, that there's clear demonstrated market value for, and then can you go in a different direction with it? That's how you really stand out, and that works really well online right now, especially because there's so much shit online. If you just scroll down your Facebook newsfeed, depending on what you've already clicked on in the past, there's probably a lot of offers for the same thing. I know on my newsfeed, since I check everyone out, there's like tons of different offers for like how to build the lifestyle of your dreams, how to build a 6-figure that, how to build a blah 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 course this that. You know, there's a lot of those things, and all those offers seem the same. Look at what your competition is doing and just go off in another direction. You're not going to watch this video and then immediately have that insight when you turn on this video. You're not going to have that. But if you take some time and you look at the outline that's in this episode,